Good afternoon, and thank you for participating in today's webinar, Unlocking Efficiency with Microsoft Power Pages and CRM. A little about Forvis Mazars. Forvis Mazars is an independent member of the Forvis Mazars Global Network. We are ranked among the largest public accounting firms in the United States, and our team members are dedicated to providing an unmatched client experience through the delivery of assurance, tax, and consulting services for clients in all 50 states and internationally. As part of the firm's consulting services, Business Technology Services provides analysis, design, implementation, upgrade, training, and support services for accounting and ERP systems and sales and marketing CRM systems. Our end-to-end solutions help clients achieve their digital transformation goals. At a glance, these are the technologies Business Technology Services supports. Today, we'll be focusing on the Microsoft Power Platform and Dynamics 365 CRM applications. Our presenter today is Kevin Liebergen. Kevin is a lead consultant at Forvis Mazars and has more than 17 years of experience in the IT industry with a focus on software development. In his experience, Kevin has worked with a variety of industries, including manufacturing, nonprofit, and healthcare. He holds several Microsoft certifications and has worked with software solutions, including Microsoft Dynamics 365, Salesforce, and PeopleSoft, along with various data integration tools, including Power Automate, Kingsway Soft, Scribe, MuleSoft, Smart Connect, and more. Again, thank you for participating in today's webinar. Now I will turn over the presentation to Kevin.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to talk about unlocking efficiency with Microsoft Power Pages and CRM. Our objectives for the day, we're going to describe how to create and design a new Power Page using low-code techniques. So no coding knowledge is going to be required for any of the demos I'm showing you today. We're going to discuss using Power Pages to automate lead creation. That's going to include, collecting leads and a little bit of how you could automate some things around that when leads come in. And then we're going to define how to build a customer self-service portal using Power Pages. So I've already created one because it takes a little bit for it to set up the template, but we'll review some of the templates available. We'll look at the one that it created for us and we'll walk through that. So we're going to start here with our first CPE polling question. And we're wondering, have you worked with Power Pages in Dataverse? So I'm just trying to get a feel here for, what level you guys are all at. So I know, are my demos going too in-depth or not enough, or?
You're probably an A and I'm a B. Like, I have created a trial account and I have played around. That's about it.
Yeah, you'd definitely be a B then, right? You've seen it. But,
yeah.
Definitely more to learn. And as much as I've worked with these, there's still more for me to learn, right? There's a lot that these things can do. And even beyond what I'm going to show today, you can customize these. I see a question, would Power Apps be part of Power Pages? So that's actually perfect. So the first demo, I'm going to show a Power App and a Power Page. So they are separate. Power Apps and Power Pages are two different things, but they're very similar, right? Power Apps being more internal. Power Pages can be internal, external. So I'm going to actually demo how to create a Power App first because it's pretty simple, and then show how that works with Power Pages.
Awesome.
All right,
the results are in.
So it looks like, not too many experts here, but more people who've done it a little and then are looking to do it soon or just looking for information. So that's a good mix for, the demos I'm going to show are very point and click, like you would be able to go and do what I do just by following my steps and set up some basic pages. So, all right, so first objective, right? Create a Power Page. We're going to learn how to create and design a Power Page. And this is where I'm also going to show you how to do a Power App. Let's get to this part of the demo. So So the first thing we got to say is, or figure out is, why would we use a Power Page, right? So this is low code development. So yes, you could hire developers and go create a whole custom website, write your own connections to all of your data. But we can use Power Pages. So, it's a visual approach. You'll see when we go, you can just kind of say, I want to have a field and drag it on here. You use form designers. So you're not writing code to create the layouts. It can configure the colors, all that stuff just by doing settings. You don't need to do code for that. It's very accessible. You can develop fast, can be cost effective on the development, and improve your agility because you're able to just kind of create these right away. There's also the low code comes with a lot of templates that are available. So if there's certain things that are used commonly, they probably have a template for it. You can click that. It creates the basic pages you would need for, we're going to use customer self-service portal later on. So you can create that with a few clicks. It'll create it, and then you customize it from there. Add the fields that you need, that kind of stuff. Another thing that kind of improves the agility, right, is for non-developers. If a non-developer can do this, maybe your business power user, they're a little more familiar with the business processes. So they're able to make these Power Pages, handle the business process stuff, and then just bring in developers for the parts that need to be customized further than what the system can do. So all of these benefits together make this an attractive option to enhance productivity and innovation, and you don't need developers for all of it. So here's some of the risks of low-code development, right? If you just give everyone access to this, people can go create all kinds of things, and it can create governance issues. Without proper oversight, people might not follow your policies. If they set up security incorrectly, you could make data exposed to people that it shouldn't be. Maybe there's industry standards that now you're not meeting because someone created some Power Pages and didn't know what they were doing, that they didn't follow the guidelines. There could be security vulnerabilities because if you do this rapidly and you don't think of it, you can leave gaps. There's low-code solutions, may struggle to integrate with existing systems. So it integrates well with the Dataverse, but if you need to integrate with other systems, you're going to need maybe more of developers to help sync data over to the Dataverse or create other connectors. So if you have that, that's a risk where you may not be able to do this yourself. Technical debt is a problem where, if you throw these together quickly and you don't think about it a lot, and suddenly you want to change, and now there's 10 portals out here, Power Page portals, you got to go and change it in 10 spots, where, if you think about stuff ahead of time and plan, you can make sure things are more reusable, so you don't have to make the same change through multiple places. So technical debt is a risk that can make it so it's hard to maintain these. So you need to really plan ahead when you're doing these and not just throw everything out there and then come back to it later. Scalability. So applications built on low-code platforms may face scalability challenges as business needs grow. So, if you create something real simple and it works for now, and then your team goes times 10, do you need something more robust? It's possible. And then limited customization. So low-code platforms have a lot of templates, a lot of components you can use. But, if you get a developer and you create a custom website, you can create anything you want. So there's a gap there, right? Low-code does a lot of things, but then there's a gap where now you can start developing stuff on here. And what point do you need to go to just a full code stuff? So to address these risks, governance, you need to have policies, guidelines, make sure the people who are doing this stuff are trained on that. So you don't just give everyone ability to go and create these things, training, that kind of stuff. we got to encourage collaboration. So we need to have communication between business users and IT teams so that IT knows what's out there if they need to help support it. Business knows what IT is already working on. So you're not doubling effort there. You should probably perform, audits and reviews of what was created. So, you want to make sure it's complying to your policies, that it's effective, because if it's not effective, right, then maybe you need to modify it, create something else, check the security, all that kind of stuff. And then, IT should probably still be involved in the development process, just to make sure that the stuff that's being developed is aligning with your infrastructure standards, stuff like that. So if you're going to do this, you need to definitely think about these risks and plan what you're going to do, because I'm going to show you this demo here in a minute, the first demo. And in 10 minutes or less, we're going to set up a Power App, and we're going to set up a little bit of a Power Page, and you're going to go, wow, that was easy. And it is easy to create this very basic stuff, but it is really addressing your needs. Is it scalable? Is it secure? All this kind of stuff you need to think about before you just start throwing things out there. All right, so let's get into our first demo here. I'm going to share my screen. All right, so I'm going to start by showing a Power App, which is not the same as a Power Page, but Power Apps are more internal use. So, let's say that, I'm going to set up one for managing cases, but let's say that you have cases because you support your clients on site and you have agents in the field who are driving on site and they want to see these cases. And they're just going to use a Power App on their phone. They don't need to necessarily log into, they don't need to log into CRM. They don't need to log into field service or anything like that. We can create a Power App that just has the stuff they need when they're on site to search for the case, and maybe they're going to attach a picture or just modify the case and say, I was here, I fixed this, close it out. So we can pretty easily create one. So you'll see here when I go to make.powerapps.com and apps, there's a lot of options. So start with Copilot. They kind of have this on every screen now. I've had mixed results with it. It's getting better. So you can definitely try that if you want to try to describe it. Worst case, it creates an app for you. You modify it from there for what you want. They also have some templates you can do. I'm just going to start with data here. And even here, it's like what do we want here? So you can kind of say what you want. I'm just going to select an existing table, and we're going to say all, and I'm going to search for case. I'm just going to pick case here, and I'm going to hit create app. And once I do this, I'm going to have a fully functional app that it created for me based on the stuff it figured from the cases that, it's going to give us some fields. It's going to show it to us here so that we can preview it, we can modify it, whatever we need to do. So it just takes it 30 seconds or so, and then it will show us the app. Almost there. And we'll see when this comes up. I can kind of describe it ahead of time. There's going to be a tab here that's going to list the cases with the search. And then when we click on one, it's going to show us the details of the case over on the right-hand side. Skip this. All right, so here we can see these are the cases. It's got part of the title, which we can change the fields that are here. It's got the stuff over here. We can edit it. So if you hold down Alt, you can interact with this right in here. Otherwise, we can click this here, and we're going to preview the app. And this opens it right up. And you can see here on the top, if I do this, let's say I want to edit this. I hit edit. Example 1, 2, 3, and save. And all this is editing my data directly in the Dataverse, just from this app. So when they would throw this on, so up here we can see these 3 different things. We can simulate a tablet, a phone, or a browser. So right now we're on the browser. Let's say that I have, Apple iPads. If I hit that, this is what it would look like if you had your technicians using iPads out there, right? Or if I want to do phones, let's say I've got, Samsung Galaxy A53. It's in landscape mode on your phone. This is what it looks like, and you can see, And I need to maybe rethink this layout because all I can see is the first two letters of the title. That doesn't really give me anything, but maybe we can put the case number in here so they can search for case something, like search for the number. If those are the types of phones we're going to be using. Or like Apple iPhone, now there it's a little more useful, but maybe this isn't the best layout for a phone, but it works okay on a tablet. So it has nice preview functionality here. And, we can see which fields it has here, and maybe I don't like these fields, right? So I click on this grid because these are the fields it added. I can edit fields. I can remove them, change the order. If I want to add a field, I just hit here, and then let's add like description. So if I add this, it's just going to throw it at the bottom. Just a little slower because I'm sharing, because usually that one doesn't take that long. You see here, we've got the description down here now. Still can edit it. I was testing this before. I threw some data in there. So right there, I just said create a Power App from a table. I picked case, and it created this for me. Now we saw this layout wasn't very good for mobile phones, right, or tablets. So I'm just going to abandon this, and I created one. I used with the app template, and I created this one already. So this one's a little better, and it's a multi-screen one. So I created it because using the template, it just took a little longer to generate it, so I didn't want to do that on the call here. But the only thing I added at all here was the description, and I'll show you where that was. So you see here on a mobile phone, this one's a little better, right? We've got the case number. We've got the title. We don't have all the details here, right? But if I hold Alt and click into one of these, now I've got the screen that this is the details of the case. And then there's a third screen. When I hit edit, I can change things. And description wasn't here when I created it, but it was the same kind of thing. So if I hit here and edit fields, I was able to hit add field and add it. And I could reorder these if I want to, whatever order I want these in. And this works basically the same as the other app. But if you look on the side here, you see we've got the browse screen, the detail screen, and the edit screen. So instead of one app, which worked good on the browser, maybe on the tablet it would be okay, this one might be better here. So if I preview here, we can kind of see, it's the same, right? I click on this. This is how it looks in the browser. Let's pick one of these iPhones. So you see this is much better than the old layout on the iPhone. Or if I picked one of the Samsungs, same thing, right? Tablet, does this one look good? Still looks good on the tablet. Now, this is where you'd have to decide, right? Do we want the multiple screens, or would we rather have where this is on the side and then it shows me the detail? Where in the browser, like the other screen's probably better, right? So maybe you have two Power Apps. But now you're looking at, now I have to maintain both of those Power Apps. If I want to change fields, I want to change things. Now it's two. So this is where we talked about, like, we need to be aware of making sure we don't create too many things, making sure we don't create a maintenance nightmare of just one thing after another. So that's Power Apps. You can kind of see how simple those are to create. And there's designs here, so you can kind of pick, I want the gallery with the connected table. This is the side-by-side one that we had. You can do external data if you want SharePoint lists, Excel, blank page with navigation, views and forms. So these are just kind of, dashboards. You can pick these. You can pick all of these if you want, or you can create them from the data itself. So if we jump over to Power Pages, so this is make.powerpages.microsoft.com. We can kind of see some similar things, right? We're going to start building with Copilot if we want to. You develop a site for project management, website for internal communication, and it just gives you some suggestions if you want to use this. They also have these templates you can use. So if we bring this up, there's going to be a whole bunch of these that we'll go through. I'll go through and show some of these in detail later. But there's lots of templates out here.
Kevin, would you say that Power Pages offers more design capabilities than the Power Apps, like out of the box?
Yes, I would. There's definitely more. So think of Power Pages more like creating a website that's going to be more fully functional. It's going to have more stuff in it. It's going to have a better, like a navigation that, it's going to include, I may create 5 Power Apps, but that might be one Power Page with different web pages under it, right? So it's
Nice.
It's more like, think of Power Apps as like a bigger website solution that goes outside of can go outside of your Dataverse. You can have users who are your contacts log in. You can invite people. You can also use Active Directory for like internal stuff. But Power Apps are basically just internal. Like you need a license, but it's a way that people using it wouldn't have to necessarily log into CRM or sales or field service, because they could just use the Power App if you're able to create an app just for the thing they care about.
Got it. And then that data would write back to your CRM system.
Yep. Yeah. It's like, it's not even writing back. It is directly connected to your CRM system. It is, when it's on there, it's a live view. Like if someone's changing it in CRM, it'll show up right on there. So
nice.
It is fully connected, not a like a sync later kind of thing.
Very cool.
All right. So let's go back to the presentation here. So when we talk about Power Pages, there's multiple ways that they can be used. So the first one we're going to talk about is using Power Pages to automate lead creation. So this is going to be using anonymous authentication. So if you've ever thought about, you probably even used it to register for this webinar, right? You go to a page and you put in your contact info and you say, yeah, contact me, or I want more information on this, or anything like that. That's probably creating a lead in somebody's system so that they can email you about the thing you're interested in and potentially email you about other things, right? Or have someone, if you did a contact us page, have someone reach out to you in the future. So lead automation helps improve the sales pipeline by automating the lead capture, management, and nurturing. It uses technology to collect, score, and engage leads effectively, reducing manual work and boosting efficiency, right? So, I'm going to show you how to collect leads through a Power Page. We're going to set one up here, like pretty quickly. You'll see that it doesn't take much. We're going to look at a little bit of automation around that. I just set up a real simple example where, I'm changing the topic based on the lead score, but, there's lots of things we could do there. And we'll talk about some of those. We could also use the automation to like send follow-ups to people, reminding them of the webinar they registered for, things like that. We can, use reporting on these leads to see who hasn't been followed up with, so that the people they're assigned to can more effectively say, okay, I haven't followed up with this person in a couple of weeks. I better give them another call. So, lead automation is a big topic, right? So efficiency, we can automate repetitive tasks and save time, so your marketing teams, your sales teams can focus on, the things they want to do instead of entering the leads even, or, making sure they're tracking who to follow up with. It can do that for them. We can be more consistent because automation can make sure leads get the information they need when they need it. We're not going to rely on a person to send it who can be on vacation or, get sick and then don't send the things. It also makes it easier, like if you're a salesperson and you have 50 leads you're working on, if some of the stuff is automated, right, it's less things you got to worry about missing. We got improved lead management because automated systems can prioritize leads based on predefined criteria. So, sales teams can know who is a more promising prospect, or, kind of see who's falling off, to maybe follow up with them to keep them going. We can get data-driven insights. So automation tools often include analytic capabilities. So, gathering the leads is one thing, putting in CRM, maybe making some automation, but there's a marketing module. You can get third-party tools that connect in and use these leads as well, that connect right into the Dataverse. So, lots of automation, data-driven stuff we can do there. As far as nurturing leads, we can send automated follow-ups. If we're waiting for someone to sign a contract and they haven't done it yet, we don't need someone to say, hey, reach out. We could have something, just send them a reminder in a week or whatever we want to do there. Or, hey, sorry, we haven't heard from you lately. Are you, still interested in this product? You get those kind of emails all the time for things you bought or looked at. That can all be done with automation here. And it just makes things more scalable. As your business grows, as your pipeline grows, your leads volume is going to increase, right? And automation means that the same amount of people can do more leads without, feeling really stressed out and overworked, because some of the tasks that can be automated are automated, and you can, as a sales rep, focus on using your personal touch and reaching out to people who need it and doing those calls while the, reminders of things that were supposed to be done are sent out automatically and things like that. All right, so how can Power Pages help with my lead automation? So we're going to create a lead capture form. It's not going to require anyone to log in. We can ask for whatever information we prefer, and it's going to create the lead directly into CRM. So the direct integration with CRM is the number one reason to go with Power Pages, right? If you use some other solution, there are other ones out there. They may have an integration with CRM, but it might be on a delay, or maybe they're using the API. Some of them probably do have direct integration as well, but this is built right on top of it. When we go to set this up, you'll see, like, I'm using if you customize CRM, we're using CRM forms. We're using all the stuff that is right in there to make this page show up. We're going to use Power Automate because we're all talking about Dataverse. Power Automate flows are going to be what's going to automate all the stuff. Anything we want to automate, we're just going to create workflows there. If you're using the marketing stuff or third-party tools, all this stuff can do lead scoring based on the data that you're collecting. Segmentation and targeting is, if you're collecting the correct information on these pages, you can, put out, like, let's say we're doing, which ERP do you use? And we could have different marketing lists based on that. And then analytics and reporting, once this data is in here, we can use Power BI, any other solution like that, to say, where are our leads coming from? Which campaigns are being effective? That kind of stuff we can use. And then self-service stuff, we can also set this up where when we convert people from leads to contacts, they get added to the customer self-service, which will be the final portion of this, and they can log in and update their own information and get resources, schedule demos, lots of things we can put out there. So, by using Power Pages and automation, you can really streamline that lead generation process and lead management. So, all right, we're going to jump into our second demo here. Share my screen again. So if I start from blank or with a template and I hit go, it takes a little bit to generate that, to provision the site and all that stuff. So I created one here just called Lead Gen that we're going to go in here and we're just going to create a page to kind of collect leads. So this is one I had set up. I'll start with a new page. So we're just going to say, lead capture, and I'll just start from blank. So when you come to these, you can see, let's look at some of the options first, right? So Pages, this is kind of your, you've got access denied, and here's where you would create like your navigation. See, I got home and lead capture, and you can put sub things. So if I put things under lead capture, it goes, it would go down the line. You can have sub menus, stuff like that. If I go to styling, you see here they have lots of options. This is just the default one, but it's simple as I think I'd rather have this blue. It's changed. If I save it, it'll change it. We can pick any one of these. We can modify it on our own here. Even get control of the headings, fonts, the links, links, sections, all this stuff. So lots of customization that doesn't require any coding wise. You just kind of pick your colors you want. So we'll discard that. Hit data here. This will show us. So right here, the only table I've included so far is lead. You can kind of see some of the data, the additional columns here. If you want to bring in other tables, here's all the tables in your Dataverse that you can include. So you can bring those in to add additional pages. We can see here these are the views that are available on here, and the forms. And these are very important because these forms are what we're going to use when we add this to the screen. So the one that I'm going to use is this Contact Us personal web form. But if I click on this, you'll see that it is going to bring up, the actual form as you would see it if you were in D365. So it won't render like this thing here at the top, your business process flow, but it's going to show us all these fields, and I could add additional fields here. This form is what I'm going to collect when I do this. So if I go back, let me see, there's a bunch of them, so I could pick any one of these, but that's the one we'll use here. If we go under setup here, these are a lot of the settings of the site, right? So it's, there's site checks and go live checklist you would want to do, site performance, so you can track, which pages need to load faster, that kind of stuff. Just a lot of generic settings like that. Security here we'll look at. So in order to make leads available, I had to create this permission. So you just come here and you hit new permission. So if I open this up, I called it lead, but it could be lead non, we'll just call it lead and non. I picked the lead table. I want global, but this is where, when we get to the self-service, you can say only myself or account access. So this would be, if I'm a contact and I belong to this account, I can see everything for that account. So if there's orders under that account, opportunities under that account, that kind of stuff. Contact access would be only stuff connected directly to that contact. So opportunities and orders for that contact. So you can do different levels here. We're going to say global. And then I'm going to allow create and append to. And that's just in case you want to attach like documents or something to these when you're creating them. And then I had to hit add roles here, and I picked anonymous users. So when you're creating these, this is where I change it to lead and non, because I'd probably have a lead one for authenticated users where they could probably read, update. Maybe we don't want them to delete, but depending on what we're doing, right? But in this case, anonymous users, I don't want them to read anything. I don't want them to update anything, delete anything. I just want them submitting these leads. They're just going to hit the screen, they're going to hit submit, and they're going to come in. So we need to set this up. Otherwise, when we go to create the page, they're not going to be able to use it. We can also, under security, we can turn on identity providers. So we're just using local sign-in, which is like a user ID and password that we can generate from the CRM that goes to the user for the contact and they can log in, or Azure, so for your internal users. But you could use Facebook, Google, there's lots of these that you can set up to allow people to log into your portal using these identity providers if you want to. So that's also here under security. Site visibility, right now the site is private. We will mark it public when we're done with it. Advanced settings just has a bunch of, things that some of them are preview that you can play around with. We also have here, you see anonymous users. They've got table permissions now. You can create new web roles, things like that if you want to. These are just the default ones out of the box. So let's go back to our pages now. So on this lead capture, I'm going to say I want a form. And I'm going to hit a new form here, and I'm going to say this table is going to be leads. Now, this could be anything you want, right? You create a different table. I'm just using leads, but let's say you wanted someone submitting, ideas for your next product. You could create a table called, public ideas, and pick this, and then, it's going to give you these. So we're going to pick this form that we created here, and then I'm just going to say lead. Now, when we go to data, we can decide what we want to do here. So in our case, we're going to create a new record, but you could say updating existing record or read only. These would be more like when you could read them, but in this case, we're going to create a new record because we want to submit this lead into the Dataverse. And then we're going to, on submit, we can display a message, redirect to a URL or a page. So like, let's say it was like, register here and we'll give you access to this ebook, right? So instead, I may say, okay, I'm going to redirect you to the page that has the information after you submit this. But we're just going to say, thanks for submitting. And then we'll hide the form when it's submitted. CAPTCHA, I'll get rid of these for now, but that's, what letters do you see here? So you can say anonymous users, we don't want bots using this or whatever. We could turn that on. And then attachments, if we wanted to allow attachments, we would turn that on. So when I hit OK here, this is, there's our form. It's here. So let's hit preview. And you can see I could do mobile. If I actually wanted to test this, I could scan this and do it on my phone or email myself a link. I'm just going to do desktop for the purpose of this demo. And we'll just put in a test here. Like it created an address control like this for me, that I could type in the different things and it'll put it together. I'm going to say that I heard about this from the web. So if I hit submit here, it'll go processing, and then thanks for submitting. And if I go out and look in my CRM under leads, I'm going to say all leads, and right here's the one I created. Now you notice it says website dash, not web, and I'm going to show the flow here that I created. So this is just to give you a little idea of the automation of this. So I just created this flow when a row was added to the lead table for the whole organization. I want to run this flow. Now, you could use this to assign the leads to like a queue or, send an email to certain people based on the type so they know there's a new lead. There's lots of things you could do here. I just chose to update the subject. So if I click on this one, what I'm saying is if it's lead source code 8, which is the web, I'm going to set it to website dash topic. And if it's anything else, I'm going to set it to the lead source code label dash topic. So if I jump back out here, you'll see, do I have one? No, I don't have one right now. But if this was, the lead source was something besides website, it would just say, whatever that is, and then the title. So real easily, I created this flow. We checked a condition based on the types, and we're able to do updates here. So, if I wanted to, say when it was a web, I'm going to assign it to a certain person, I would just add an action here, and I would say Dataverse, and see more. And I would say, we're going to list rows so we can find it, and we're going to say users. Would, enter a query here, like Like I could either use filter rows here for OData. I could write a fetch XML query to get the user that I cared about for the web. And then I would come in here and hit show all, which would take a little bit to expand. But I could put them as the owner. So this way we could direct leads to the correct people as they come in. So you can see pretty quickly there, right? I was able to create a lead page. This flow took a couple of minutes to set up to change the subject based on the stuff selected on there. But even to add this user, I probably got another 5 minutes of just getting this query correct and then assigning it and then doing the same thing over here. So within 10 minutes, I would be able to create the lead capture form and throw a quick little flow together, and people submitting leads would get assigned to the correct person in my CRM. Now that's very generic, I get that, but it just shows how quick you can get the very basics set up and then come back later to, make it more complex. All right, so let's go back to the presentation.
Kevin, really quick, we got a question. So that was a really cool example of a lead automation power page. We have a question from Veronica. Can power pages be used internally also?
Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot of the Azure AD integration that I showed there for authentication is how you would do that. And they even have templates for employee onboarding and things like that. So it absolutely can. You need to, the licensing model is a little different. So you need to do the compare and contrast there of the cost of Power Apps versus Power Pages, to see which one benefits you more based on number of users. And there's just so many variables there. But yes, Power Pages can absolutely be used internally. Power Apps just they're almost simpler. It's like one app for one purpose. Power Pages are like a whole employee onboarding portal. So.
Nice, good explanation. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the customer portal, right? So this one I would say is by far the most common use case that we have is the customer self-service portal. So, it's Power Pages, it's secure enterprise, low code. It's all hosted, it's a modern thing. So it redirects how it looks based on which browser you're in, all that stuff we just showed you. So the self-service part of this is users are authenticated. We can create accounts for the contacts, all that kind of stuff. They can keep their own information, like say their email changes or their phone number. They can modify that for you, so they don't have to call you. We saw the customization. You can put your own logo. You can do your own branding if you want there. It integrates with CRM systems and more. We can personalize things. There's just a lot of functionality that the self-service portal will allow the people to do things on their own versus having your customer service representatives need to do it. Mobile responsiveness, automation and chatbots can be built into there. Copilots are coming out. You can make copilots that scan your website so that it can answer questions about your own products and your own company without them having to call you. That's a whole nother topic that can be set up. Multi-language support is on here. So if you support multiple languages, the portal can handle that. You can track usage on the portal, popular queries, that kind of stuff to know maybe where you want to spend some time improving it because this is the part everyone's using. All that stuff is available. So, how can the self-service portals benefit my organization? They're accessible 24/7 when maybe your sales reps are not. You can reduce the workload for your sales and service teams because the customers can do some of it themselves, which leads, into cost saving because, the same amount of people can handle more cases now. So as your caseload goes up, this could help you maybe not have to hire people. Faster issue resolution can come of it. And, some of that's just they have the ability to check on their own cases, their own orders, their own whatever, to see that there's updates without having to contact you. So that makes them feel faster. It also can just streamline the whole process. It can make your customers not have to wait on hold if your call volume's high, so it can improve their satisfaction. Enhanced productivity is, customers handle the routine tasks, so employees can focus on more strategic value-added activities. Personalization, is allowed for a lot of these things to tailor the user experience based on their preferences. You get data insights. It's scalable. It's hosted on the Microsoft server, so it's not like your server is going to become overwhelmed, and fully integrated with CRM and other D365 applications. So let's jump out here, and we're going to look at this demo. So this one here, I already set up the customer self-service portal because this one takes it a few minutes to create all of this when you jump out here to do it. So when I come here, you'll see I'm logged in as my system administrator. So if I hit here, I could fill in this information about me. I can update some of my contact preferences, change my password, all that kind of stuff, manage external authentications if I have those, like connect my Google account, whatever. If I go to my support here, I can see when this loads, I'll see the case that I created. I can open a new case, all this without calling anybody. If I click into my case, I can see any updates that were done to the case by anybody. So, when I submitted the case, I typed adding a comment, and then I went in CRM and I replied to the comment from CRM. So you can go back and forth without your internal support people having to use this portal. So if I jump into here, this is the case that I was just looking at. You can see, they added a comment. I can add notes here which don't go back to the portal. So if I need to put internal comments here, I can do that. And if I want to add a portal comment, I just click the plus and I hit a portal comment. That's what shows back up. Windows now, there we go. That's what'll show up here. So hello from CRM was a portal comment that I added that popped in out here. So, it allows the technicians to work here, or they could be working on a Power App, and it's updating the same data. And they don't need to use the portal, but the portal's there for the customers to use to get access to this data without having to come back to this. So let's go and look at some of these templates now, because there's a lot of them available that you can just hit and start, which is what I did with the self-service. So you can see here, like schedule and manage meetings, FAQs. This is all of them. If I hit even Dynamics 365, so there's community. Customer portal is the one that I created. Customer self-service portal. This one here, if I hit preview here, they have nice, you can see kind of what it's going to look like on a mobile and a desktop, and it walks you through here. So, at least one Dynamics 365, sales, field service, project operations, marketing. You need at least one of those for this one to work, So kind of goes through the differences here. There's partner portals, order one. So if I hit orders here, this is going to require, I think this one is like BC or F&O. And the same thing here, you can see mobile, desktop, whatever one you want to check out. So all these portals are here: registration, program registration, application submission, scheduling. Let's see what this one looks like. So yeah, I can kind of walk through the process. So all this is available, right? Connects to your Dataverse data. You can create new tables in your Dataverse, connects to these existing applications. And it's all out here for you. When you create some of these templates, it may create tables with forms and all of that kind of stuff as well. So let's stop sharing here and go back and talk about, so other things to consider with these, right? So you can combine this with Business Central or Finance and Operations. So with Business Central, you would use either the data synchronization and virtual tables to make the data available to the Dataverse. Finance and operations has dual write, which syncs the data back and forth by creating tables, and you set up mappings. So once you set those up, the integration stuff is seamless. The data is there, it goes back and forth, and you're updating the Dataverse, and it syncs it back and forth. So there's a lot of options there once you have the data synced over. So licensing, it's not straightforward. So I always like to include that on here. A lot of it comes down to how many users are you going to have? How much are they going to be using it every month? The anonymous one is based on page visits, where the authenticated one is based on, per user, so that's where, maybe the Power Apps make more sense if you're not already using Power Pages for anything, because that licensing maybe is a little cheaper as an add-on to your already existing user licenses for CRM, sales, Business Central, finance, and operation. And then, while these look simple, right, we set up some quick examples here just by using templates and slight modifications. You want to make sure they don't become too complicated that it's a problem to maintain. If you end up with 200 Power Apps out there and, tons of pages across multiple portals, now you want to make a change to something, you got to go through and touch all of those. So it can get tricky. Now, we said simple here. We've done some of these portals where we've got a lot of custom pages because we want to do things that aren't supported with these out-of-the-box abilities. So we've created custom pages to handle certain things, and those are not that difficult to do. But you just bring in a developer, you set up the portal, you say, hey, I need this thing added, and one of us can get that all added for you. All right, so we're going to our last polling question here.
So Kevin touched upon a lot of great functionality today, and he made it seem really simple, which is awesome. If you have questions, please check yes. We can send you more information if you want to have those more in-depth discussions or like a personalized demonstration. We are happy to do that. And while these are coming in, we did get a few questions, Kevin. So one, is it possible, and this was a similar question to earlier, is it possible to use Power Pages in Dynamic CRM to collect data directly in the CRM?
So yeah, that's kind of, what I showed with the lead page, right, is it collects the data and puts it right into CRM. So you can put these right on top of existing tables. You don't need new tables. We could collect orders. We could, all of that stuff. Any table that's out there can have a Power Page or Power App put on top of it, as long as you set up the security correctly and all that stuff. And then the data, like the moment you type it in and hit save, it's in CRM. It's not like a delayed sync thing. It's like the website is right on top of it.
Very cool. And then I can probably help answer this question from Jesse. How would you stop someone spamming your leads in your CRM with this Power Page? So if you have that global Power Page, what are some of the options? Like reCAPTCHA we saw, is there like a honeypot? How do you keep the spam out?
So, mostly like bots are, that's what the CAPTCHA is for, right? So once that's on there, I guess we could use any technique that you find out there, like you said, the honeypots, that kind of stuff. You could use those, but someone would have to type it all in and then type the CAPTCHA and hit submit, and type it all in and hit, so like we could put things in place like, oh, I'm seeing the same email address come in, so I'm gonna not create the lead, things like that, but it's kind of like, how much do you want to put in place, versus the return on that, Like I get you want to have something, so that's why the CAPTCHA, usually you would leave that on for the anonymous one at least.
Yeah, helps keep that out.
So that keep the bots from, because bots could do it real fast, right?
Yeah.
But it's like leads can get messy. You're right. Like you could get 1,000 leads today because people submit them, and that's where then you'd want to look at some kind of lead scoring thing, right? Like these came in, let's send them some stuff, see who clicks on it, who replies, and move them up the list. Um, but I mean, it's definitely something to think about and, get in your plan of how you want to handle that.
Excellent. We have one more question. This one's a little bit trickier. It's from Serena. What if the device being used doesn't have a connection? Sometimes our techs in the field are at locations that don't have cell or Wi-Fi service. Would it save your draft?
So power pages are going to need the internet connection.
Okay.
I know that with like the model-driven apps in CRM, you could use offline mode, which makes tables available. I don't recall if Power Pages can work with that or not. I'd have to follow up on that. But I know like we've had people use Dynamics model-driven apps for CRM, field service, sales. You can set up certain tables to be available offline, and then they can like let's say it's opportunities, right? You go there and you're typing in notes. Then when you have an internet connection, it'll sync that back into your Dataverse. So there are options out there for that with offline capabilities.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you all for attending today's webinar. And with that, we are at the top of the hour. So thank you all. And thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, everybody.